Welcome back to another round of Have I Put on Deodorant Today? No wait, that's my quarantine game. Welcome back to another weekly roundup of cloud gaming news brought to you by yours truly. We've got some interesting things to go over today. So firstly, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest in cloud gaming, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and if you enjoy the content, remember to give the video a like. But for now, let's jump into the news. And first up, despite its continued loss of publishers, GeForce Now continues to push their service forward. This week, NVIDIA announced an enhancement to the technology driving their service with the introduction of DLSS 2.0. But what does that mean for you if you're a GeForce Now subscriber? So DLSS, or Deep Learning Super Sampling, uses dedicated AI processors on RTX GPUs called Tensor cores, which take a low-resolution image and intelligently build it up to look like a higher quality image. In doing so, they're able to deliver both great-looking gameplay and increase frame rates without increasing the stress on their GPU hardware. Now, as the name suggests, this is the second version of DLSS, with the first version proving they were able to improve the performance and increase frame rates, but in their attempt to upscale the image actually led to a loss of quality and blurred edges. I'll leave a link in the video description to fellow Brit tech YouTuber Tom the Tech Chap, who did a great breakdown of DLSS 2.0, as well as some pretty detailed testing. So this technology has been available to users with physical RTX hardware since the end of March, but the news coming out this week is that NVIDIA is adding this to the GeForce Now service. An obvious move for a cloud gaming platform in which they can both improve the performance of a game stream without compromising on image quality. So just because NVIDIA has stated that it's been added to the service doesn't mean that every game across the board, or what they have left,
I respect your honesty, but it still hurts.
The performance will just be instantly improved for all games. Right now, DLSS 2.0 is only supported for Control on GeForce Now, with NVIDIA stating they're adding it to other games throughout the months, including MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries and Deliver Us the Moon. One important thing to note, we've already said that DLSS 2.0 uses RTX hardware, something which is only available for users who are currently signed up to the Founders tier, which we've recently discussed. That Founders tier is still currently sold out in both Europe and the US, with no word from NVIDIA when this would become available again, likely due to NVIDIA needing to add extra hardware to their data centers, something which is probably proving difficult with, the thing. If you did manage to jump on that 90-day free trial of the Founders tier of GeForce Now, something which was extended by NVIDIA recently because of the hiccup of, publishers leaving and taking all of their games with them, then let me know if performance improvements to the service like this is enough to keep you subscribed to the Founders tier after your free trial runs out. Moving on to Google Stadia, and let's see if I can get through this section without upsetting too many delicate flowers who did not enjoy my views on the recent Stadia Connect. That's my bad. Clearly I forgot the internet is not a place for opinions.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
But in that recent video, one of my well thought out, fair, handsome and articulate arguments was the lack of features that were discussed in the Stadia Connect, with them just taking a minute to talk about what they've released so far. But weirdly, just a few days after Stadia Connect, we see the announcement and the deployment of a sorely needed feature, wireless controller support. For the web, not mobile devices. Let's not get carried away. Yes, one of the selling points of Google Stadia was the Stadia controller, which connected to Google data centers via Wi-Fi, thus removing the layer of latency of controller inputs first having to be registered on local physical hardware. So Stadia have said, starting this week, you can use the Stadia controller to play wirelessly on your laptop and desktop. You no longer need to connect your Stadia controller physically to your computer to play your favorite games. You'll be able to link your Stadia controller and Stadia.com through your Wi-Fi network and play without a USB-C cable connection. Which, I don't know who writes their public statements, but it feels like me trying to hit a word count on an essay. So although wireless controller support was the next feature stated on their public roadmap, it seems weird that it wouldn't be included and kind of celebrated in their Stadia Connect, with it being deployed just a few days later. So with this feature now being deployed, the one thing Stadia users are now looking out for is the exact same feature, but for mobile devices. And of course, if there are any developments on that, we'll keep you updated on the channel here. Next, in a recent announcement from Microsoft, it was confirmed that Microsoft Xbox Game Pass has surpassed 10 million subscribers, which is great, but you're thinking, Mark, Xbox Game Pass isn't game streaming. Why do you bring it up? Well, along with that announcement, Phil Spencer has said, later this year, our cloud gaming streaming technology project XCloud will come to Game Pass, so you and your friends can stream and play the games you love together on your devices. So if you're unfamiliar with the XCloud service because it's been radio silent for a little while now. It is Microsoft's attempt at cloud gaming, and it's currently in beta. Allows you to stream a pretty decent library of games to mobile devices, a max resolution of 720. I'll leave a link to my full review of the service as it is so far, around here somewhere. So this is great news for the service, showing some progress, especially as we've said, after a period of radio silence, especially for users of Xbox Game Pass, which I've always been a fan of because literally the combination of Shadow and Xbox Game Pass.
You son of a bitch.
It does, however, lead to some questions which we just simply don't have the answers to right now. So would xCloud be bundled into Xbox Game Pass free of charge to promote use of the service? Would it lead to an increase in the base price of Xbox Game Pass? Or will we suddenly see different tiers of Xbox Game Pass, similar to what we do with GeForce Now with their free and founders tier? And above all else, we don't have a date for when this move could take place, with Phil Spencer stating later this year. So again, always interested to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and predictions on how this service could work in the comments down below. Next, in some quick news, with it being close to the start of the month, I'm a little bit behind, but we have new games being added to cloud gaming services. So first on that list, PlayStation Now, and their games for May include Rainbow Six Siege, Evil Within 2, and Get Even. Also, I'll link to my full review of the PlayStation Now service, again, somewhere. Next, GeForce Now, as we discussed recently, they actually add games every Thursday, so their most recent additions include Age of Conan Unchained, Darksiders 2, Hitman Blood Money, and The Guild 2 Renaissance. And finally, as announced at the Stadia Connect, the Stadia games for me include Dead Army 4, Dead War, and despite the fun I poke at Stadia, my girlfriend's been playing a lot of that title, and it is seriously a lot of fun. SteamWorld Heist, The Turing Test, and then technically PUBG, since it was announced at the Stadia Connect for Stadia Pro subscribers. Next, let's talk about PlayStation Now and the PS5. Now, let's start this story by saying this is just a rumor. Nothing confirmed, but still just a very interesting piece that I thought we should touch on. So a tweet from PS5 Only has stated, PS5's new PlayStation Store user interface allows you to browse and try every game instantly, playable within seconds, with no traditional downloading required. No waiting before you decide to purchase the full game and download it as normal. So obviously what this tweet is hinting at, and again we take it with a massive grain of salt, is that you could instantly stream the demo to any PlayStation 5 title through the use of a service like PlayStation Now. So although PlayStation Now has been confirmed to be included on the PlayStation 5, some pretty immediate issues come to mind. Again, from our recent review, the service is currently capped at a resolution of 720, and even at that, isn't the best optimized solution we've seen of all the cloud gaming platforms, especially when it comes to input delay. From that, you can see the immediate issue that the service would have as it currently sits today in trying to stream the amount of data required in a next-gen title. So this could mean one of two things. One, this rumor is complete and utter bullshit.
Unplanned bullshit! In the galaxy of this sucks camel dicks!
Or two, if the rumor does carry some truth, it could hint at a complete rework of the PlayStation Now service, especially in an attempt for Sony to keep up with the likes of Microsoft. It's definitely an interesting one. Do you think it's true? Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, let's finish up on some great news for Shadow users. If you follow the Shadow news here on this channel, you'll know that a few months ago, the Shadow iOS app was removed from Apple's App Store for breaching Apple App Store guidelines. That was difficult to say. We talked about these guidelines in a recent video and how they're actually blocking a lot of the major game streaming players from adding their application to Apple's App Store. And there seems to be two specific parts of their guidelines which are preventing them from getting by. Firstly, and a weird one, they just seem to state that game streaming from the cloud is just straight up not allowed. And secondly, games in a game subscription service must be owned or exclusively licensed by the app's developer. This one an example how Project XCloud was able to make it onto Apple's App Store, but with only access to one Halo game, which obviously they own the exclusive rights to. So as we stated, this is a major blocker for services like Stadia, Project XCloud, and GeForce Now, but Shadow is kind of a rare breed, where they are not offering a game streaming service, but more a cloud PC solution. This does appear to technically get around Apple's guidelines.
I'll allow it.
So with that being said, with one small alteration being made to Shadow's iOS application, it will be returning to the public Apple App Store as of next week, which is great news for people who have just been onboarded onto Shadow. But Mark, what is that one small alteration? So to very clearly not fall within the realms of a game streaming application, Shadow has had to remove the Game Quick Launch feature from the iOS app. This meaning iOS users would have to launch into their full Windows desktop and launch a game manually from there. So on this one, there doesn't seem to be a lot more that Shadow can do from their side. Honestly, it's an impressive feat to get this far so quickly with the likes of Apple and Apple's legal team. What I think we'll have to see now is some leniency from Apple, to be honest, which will hopefully come in the form of pressure coming from these multiple services. But that's all from me this week, guys. Hope everyone is staying safe out there. If you enjoyed the video, found it somewhat helpful, a like rating would be appreciated. If you have not already, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and as always, I shall see you in the next one.